Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back to a new video. Today I am super excited to be walking through and reviewing the Learn Sudh Gurbani app. Now a few quick notes, the Learn Sudh Gurbani app is available on both Android and iPhone, and it's also a free download. Overall, my summary of this application is if you need to choose one app for your phone for all things Gurbani related, this is the app to choose. I do have a few things I wish they would change and some improvements I'm going to suggest throughout this video, but overall this app is absolutely amazing and I can't wait to dive in and show you all the features. Now really quick before jumping into it, a quick reminder, if you're new to my channel, a big welcome to you. Be sure to press the red subscribe button down below and also that bell icon. I post new videos every single week. So getting started, the really first thing about this app that I want to highlight is that I really feel it's the most well-designed app in terms of Gurbani apps currently available. The user experience is very well thought out, everything is very cleanly laid out, and there's no confusion on what to do for searching or changing settings or anything like that. Everything is exactly where you'd expect it to be. So when you open the app up, you're brought to a main menu with a bunch of different subjects to choose from. And I'm going to go through each of these icons and explain what's below each one. So starting on the top left over here, the Search Gurbani section, this is obviously a key component to the app. It's a very simple search mechanism over here, nothing fancy about it. You can choose by first letter start, anywhere. You can search by Ang, you can search by Gurmukhi word, and you can search by English words as well, which is very handy. There's also a filter section, so if you have other criteria you want to search by, you can do that here as well. Also in the search menu, if you go back here, you could go to your history, which is very handy, and you could also go to your favorites. Now, when it comes to favorites, I have a love-hate relationship with Gurbani apps and favorites, and this one is included in that. The Learn Sudh Gurbani app just released an update this week as of making this video, and I lost all my favorites when I updated the app. And this is something that I've seen across multiple Gurbani apps. It's not unique to this one, but it is very frustrating to lose all your favorites. So they have promised that this will be the last time this will happen. In the release notes, if you go to the App Store and look at those, they state that moving forward, this is not going to be a problem anymore. So I'm going to take their word for it, but just keep that in mind. Don't be too attached to your favorites here. Always find a way to back them up. I tend to take screenshots once in a while of my favorites list so I know what those were if I do lose them. Regarding the favorites menu on the top over here, there are three icons, and again, these aren't very clearly labeled. If you know what they are, you know what they do. The first one is to download your favorites from iCloud if you're on an iPhone, and then the second one is to upload your favorites to iCloud, and the third one is to clear your favorites. So again, they're not labeled, but there are three icons there with a cloud and arrows, so that's what those do. All right, now that we've talked about favorites, let's actually open a Shabad up and I'll show you some of the settings you can change. Now, by default, you won't be seeing what I'm seeing right now. It'll look a little different, and I'm going to show you what I've changed. So starting at the top, there are a bunch of icons here, and you have to really experiment with them to know what they do. So the first icon here will actually let you share the text of the Shabad you are in. And it'll just show you the Gurmukhi as well as a translation if that's what you're viewing. But if you have other things turned on like transliterations, those will also appear in the message over here. So this is a very, very easy way to just copy and paste text from a Shabad and forward it along via message or even post it on social media. The next icon, though, is a little more advanced than that. It'll actually take a screenshot of your Shabad. So it's not just the text, but a picture of what you're viewing. So two different things that really accomplish the same things over here, just different formats. Going back to the next icon now, this is where you would add a favorite if you wanted to. You can choose the line that you want to have as your main pankti for adding to your favorites. And the one after that is the settings over here. The first option here is for day mode. Personal preference, really, I'm going to turn this off. The next option here is for Gurmukhi font size. So you can change the font size of the Gurmukhi over here. Larivad option if you want to turn that on or off. And then Vishrams. So by default, yours will not be turned on with the colors. You'll actually be seeing semicolons and commas. I'm much more of a preference towards the colors. So that's what I've turned on over here, but it's completely up to you what you like to use. If you tap on the next one here for pronunciation tips, this will really depend on the Shabad you're viewing. This is much more commonly seen in Nitnam. So if you go to the Sundar Gutka option, which we'll show you later in a second, that will have much more pronunciation tips. And then there's also the other options if you go down like you normally would expect. So very, very simple, and I like the layout. It's very clean, very modern, and I love the way it looks. And what really helps even make this better than any other app that I've seen so far is if you do some things at the bottom. So there's a paragraph mode option that will just compile everything together into just one long paragraph for the Shabad. There's a Vishrams option to quickly toggle that off or on, and you'll see it'll turn it actually between the colors and the semicolons and commas. And the next option here is for Larivar, and that's the same thing I showed you a second ago. But a cool thing that I really enjoy is if you double tap anywhere on the Shabad screen, it'll put it into full screen mode. And this is something I haven't seen anywhere else yet as a shortcut. And it's just a very, very nice, clean way of making a full screen Shabad view. So going back to the home screen, the next option here is for Sehej Paath. And if you press on Sehej Paath, you have a few options here. This was recently updated to include many more options to choose from. Prior to this, it was only Guru Granth Sahib that you can choose from. But now you have Dasam Granth Sahib as well as Gurdas Ji Wara. So very, very awesome to see different possibilities here for your Sehej Paath. And if you choose one of these options, it'll actually tell you the last ang that you left off on. And what I would really prefer is that you could just press open and it would bring you to that ang, but you actually have to type in the number and then press open, and that will bring you to the ang. It won't automatically bring you back to where you left off. So that's one little thing. It will remember where you left off, but you have to type it in. When you're doing a Sehej Paath, this is a really good example to show you the pronunciation tips. So if we go back to the settings over here, you can see these are turned on. This is the yellow text that we're seeing, and this is really, really great to show you how you should be pronouncing certain words. And on top of that, on the bottom of the screen, there's a little play button, and this will play a recording for you too. So you can match to see if you're saying and pronouncing certain words correctly by listening to the recording built into the app. The next option here is for Sundar Gutka. This is actually something they recently updated as well, so there's many more options and many more banis to choose from. It's very, very straightforward, exactly what you would expect. You just tap on which bani you want to read, and it'll bring up the entire bani in length, as well as the pronunciation tips. So you can turn those off or on directly from the app. The next option here is for literature, and this is actually a very, very cool section of the app. You do have to know Gurmukhi to be able to read this because everything here is in Gurmukhi, it's not in English, but it has a lot of information to read if you're interested. So there's a whole section here on different topics. So at the very bottom, for example, we have common questions and answers. And when you click on this, you can choose the different topics and sections to choose from, and then it'll bring that whole up for you. So a lot of information here. I won't go through all of it, but obviously a very, very big resource of information all compiled together for you in a nice formatted way. So the next section here is for Muharni, and I have to say this is an amazing addition that the Gursevak team have added to the app. I don't think I've seen any other app that has all of this compiled together in a nice place like this. So when you tap on this section over here, you have 3 options to choose from. The first one here is to just read the Gurmukhi alphabet, which is very handy. But the next option here is for repetition table. You can actually go through and listen to the entire table if you want to. And if you press the mode button on the top right, it'll change it from column to row. So this is very, very useful for practicing your pronunciation. Obviously, this app is centered around learning Gurbani, so definitely check this resource out. And what I like the most out of all these options is the last one for numbers. I am not fluent in my Punjabi numbers, so this is very helpful for me. It'll actually list out all the numbers for you and have a verbal recording telling you how to say it. So let me show you that. So very, very cool to be able to go through every single number up to 100 to know all your numbers. So I love this resource. I'm going to use it for sure. Definitely check it out. The next option here is for random Shabad. This is a very nice way to open a random Shabad. I know a lot of people who use this as a way to take Hukamnama as well. So if you're just interested in opening a random Shabad without searching for anything, great resource for that too. The last 2 options here are very simple. The bottom left is for multimedia, and this will bring you to the Gursevak website with a bunch of recordings and resources. And the last about option here is just for showing you what the app is all about, the resources, and where everything came from. So check these out if you want to learn more about the Gursevak team and how this app was made. So at this point, we've gone through every single part of the app. I am sure I've missed quite a few things that are small details, but I have to say, out of all the apps that are out there right now, this is by far the most well-designed Gurbani search app that's available. It does more than just search. There's so many other resources available, and I cannot thank the Gursevak team enough for making an app like this. So a big shout out to them, and if you have any comments or suggestions, leave them in the comments down below, and I will forward them along to the team. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video video useful, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every single week, and I'll see you guys next time. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.